Hello, everybody. I hope you're liking the weather wherever you are. It could be hot, it could be cold, it could be in between, wherever. I just hope you're not in one of those fire districts where it doesn't really matter what the weather is. I'm sorry, bad joke. It is serious stuff out in California, and that just dated this video, which I didn't really want to do. However, for those of you who don't know me, you're missing out on a lot of crazy. Let's see, reflections. Anyway, I'm Vicki Ross, and I'm the founder of the Ideal Art and Peace System. It's a college type course. Half of it teaches basics, and the other half of it introduces you to hands-on 4 different media. And I started this group because art helped save my life after our house burned down and our daughter didn't make it out. Art was the only thing that saved me. And I say that seriously because it was something that could take my mind off what was real, and I could kind of rest. My mind could rest a little bit when I was painting. Of course, it took me a while, about 15 years to be exact, that until I felt comfortable. That helps a little. I felt comfortable enough with what I was doing to go into what I call the Zen zone. And during those 15 years, I read every book I could get my hands on. I subscribed to every magazine and read every one of those. We had piles of magazines when we downsized. And I learned everything I could from anybody I could. And then after that 15-year period, realized that some of what I had thought I had learned was wrong. And I would just wish that I could have gotten all that information in one little concise, 4, 6 week, 8 weeks worth of focused on just that. So that was why I started this class, this school, is for those of you who want to see if art is a good match for you and what you anticipate doing for a long time. I'm not an advocate of just art is the only way to go. It's art. It could be fine cooking. It could be studying wines. You don't really, after a certain age, you don't really have to say why you're doing something. I'm doing this because I want to get a job in that field. I'm doing this because, you know what I'm saying. So it can be just, I'm doing this because I've always wanted to. In art, I always tell people, let's go back to kindergarten. Let's go back to that, maybe that last box of brand new Crayola crayons that you got, and how they smelled and the magic that they could prove, that could show you. And what if we can take that experience and that smell and that anticipation of getting ready to write with those crayons, let's get that anticipation back with something else. My particular one is art. So there you have that. I am all over the internet. Here's our cards, flashcards. Can you see me now? VickiRossArt.com, and it's Vicki with an I, is a page where it tells a little bit about me, and it has links to all of my social media in one spot. It also has a link to a gallery that is sadly out of date, and I need to work on it, but that's another story, and we're not going to talk about that today. Okay, you're on, right now, you are on the Facebook page, which is Vicki Ross Art. You sense a theme going on here? Yeah. You can pretty well find me by Googling Vicki Ross Art. If you do Vicki Ross, there are other Vicki Rosses out there. That's kind of a fun search too. Anyway, you're here. And that's free for everybody. And this is my page where I can post anything I'm thinking, anything I'm working on, whatever that I think you might be interested in. It's kind of like a personal timeline. Then I have a free Facebook group. It's so hard to do that backwards. The Facebook group is called Axully Art, Axully, and it's free. You do have to ask to join, but that's so that we can keep the trolls out. That's it. The Facebook group is about you. You can post what you're thinking, what you're working on, any questions you have about really anything. And just so you know, I consider art to be cooking, sewing, yoga, whatever gets you up in the morning and makes your heart sing. So that's what I consider art. And we're all doing the same thing. So yeah, jump in. That takes care of those two things. And my YouTube channel, I'm live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 o'clock Central Time. And that's where I just play around. I've got a great group of people that join in the chat. And you can too, or you can lurk, whatever. But this is actually doing stuff. It might be experimenting with a new material. It might be, working on a journal page. It might be, experimenting with something or a new technique or whatever. Not the art-related kind of art that I teach, but this is messy art. It's fun. So that's where you can find me. So find me. You found me. Now what are you going to do with it? Today, I'm going to talk to you about something a friend said to me last week that really hit home with me. And I'm paying attention now to those, ooh, zinger, that's a good one, during the week so that I can remember to talk to you guys about it on Wednesday. So this is non-scripted. It's just me. So she asked me to, if I had the time to make her logo of a doodle into vector art so that it could be reduced to any size. And because EPS files like you take with your camera or JPEGs can only be that big, and there aren't any more pixels as you get bigger. So there's your graphic design lesson for the day. So anyway, to get it into vector art where it can make more pixels the bigger it gets. That's a short answer. And I had already told her that I would do anything I could to help her because they've started a new business. So then she told me, she said, well, I was a graphic designer for 5 years. I could do it myself if you can't, but I don't have the software anymore. And I said, just let me do it. I mean, I did that for so long. That's pretty much a no-brainer. A couple hours sitting watching TV and it's done. So then she said, I forget what I've always been told is just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to. So it's okay to farm out some of that stuff. When you reach a certain age, we all do if we're lucky, I don't care what the cliff is, whether you are pushed off of it like I was with the fire and losing a daughter, whether you jump off of it, you filed for divorce, or you've quit your job or your career. Hey, Eugene, how are ya? Good friend of mine. He's also an artist. So it doesn't matter what that cliff is. At some point around that magic age of 50, you're going to end up with a lot of time on your hands. Depending on what you've done the first, say, since high school, you've had a big career, you've had a marriage, you've been the corporate woman, you've raised kids and done the soccer team stuff. So whatever all that is, at some point will end. And then what are you going to do with your time? You have focused the bulk of your life on doing for other people, doing to get a salary, doing for the kids, doing for whatever. PTA, Parent Teacher Association, or church work or whatever. Anyway, when you end up with this time on your hands, what are you going to do with it? Yeah, for the first couple of weeks that you have it, you may ease into it and decide that, I think I'll just sit here in my recliner and watch whatever's on TV. I can watch movies. I can eat. I can overeat. I can overdrink. What are you going to do with that time? So I'm here to tell you that whatever you are interested in would be a good thing to spend some time thinking about. Spend some time with yourself, because this is your opportunity to create what you have always wanted to be. And again, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter to me what it is, but if you want to do art, I can get you off the starting block and point you in the right direction. So back to, just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to. At some point, you also can give yourself permission to quit doing the things that you've done by routine for so long. Yes, this is live, and yes, somebody's at the door, but Randy's here. So, where was I? I forgot my place. That figures. Okay, you do things by routine. You can do it faster. You know where everything is. You know where everything goes. It's faster if you do it yourself. And my mother is a good one with that. She doesn't want any help in the kitchen when she's cleaning up after dinner or loading the dishwasher. She's selfish about that dishwasher. She don't want anybody in there because she knows how the dishes fit. And then she can find them and knows how they go away. So it's easier and faster for her to do it by herself than, good Lord, hounds of the Baskervilles. It's easier for her to do it herself. Now, does she have to do that? No, she can give up the control of the way her cabinet looks or the way her dishwasher is loaded. She can just walk away and go sit down in front of the TV and let the daughter-in-laws and, you know, me, of course, you all know how I was raised. Mom always did everything. And then I married Randy and he does everything. But the nieces and nephews aren't trained that way. Mom could choose to take that time that she spends being perfect in the kitchen, delegate some of that stuff, even though it wouldn't be the same. And she could spend that time doing something that she's wanting to do. But you can't make her sit down. So, you know, she's just an example of, just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you have to. Shannon was the other one. She knows how to do what she wants done with the logo, but her time is better spent somewhere else. And I'm going to do a shameless promotion for her right now. They have gone full hog into production on what they call the custom keeper. And before we go any further, write this down. She goes by B.Y. Shannon Green, and that's 2 N's and 2 E's, GREEN SHANNON, by Shannon Green, and she sells these on Etsy. As you can see, I'm using this one for papers that I've made, decorative papers that I can tear up and use in collages or journals or whatnot. There are elastic bands on the inside of it where you can slip what's called, it just slipped my mind, Traveler's Journal. There's several names, European names, but the little booklets that you slide under the elastics can come out real easy. So technically you could fill one up and remove that and put it somewhere else, put a new one in. So they're very reasonably priced. But the cool part is that these are made from recycled billboards. And she originally started, let me get one, hang on, Snoopy, hang on. Yeah, I know. You can tell this is not rehearsed. The billboard, oops, that's upside down. This particular billboard was a Harry Potter movie billboard. And you can see the strings on the inside with this one that's not filled up yet. The strings aren't tied off because, again, she thought people would want to paint their strings And these are also paintable with acrylic paint, so you can paint on them, collage on them, whatever you want to do to make it your own. I just choose to have it plain. I like mine the way they are. And here's part of that same billboard. And she has a patent pending on the process of fusing the billboard, this way, fusing two pieces of the billboard together to make it a little more sturdy. But they're really, really fun. I use mine for the extra papers, and I also have another one that I use for journaling or, filling up little notebooks. However, if you're in Northwest Arkansas, they're going to have their Virgin Trade Show in Bentonville, Arkansas, this coming Saturday, which I think would be the 17th. So check it out. $20, $25. It's good enough price to buy one for you and buy one for somebody else. So there's my shameless plug. Shannon not only gave me the theme for this week's talk, but she also has some cool stuff. Let's see. Another example of what you can do, but you don't have to do. Let's say that somebody for some reason or another is recovering from surgery or something like that, and they get in the habit of sitting in their chair and get hooked on political TV or maybe Twitter. It helps pass the time when that person is immobile, but there comes a time when that person needs to do something else, like reorganize a studio so you can use it. Now, just because that person can sit in front of the TV in her chair all day doesn't necessarily mean that's the best thing for her. And in order to get back in a routine of art or cooking or gardening or whatever, something has to go. And you either quit doing it, you cut down on the amount of hours, you delegate it. And that you can't really delegate it. Hey, come over here and watch TV for me. I'm going to go in the studio and paint. That doesn't really work. But there are things that you do with your time that can be eliminated. I mean, you can get rid of. People are always saying, oh, I don't have time to learn anything new. I don't have time for a hobby. I'm telling you that you can make time. And just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. Delegate it. It may not be as good as yours. The person you delegate it to may not be a professional in that field. It may be a kid, a neighbor, a relative, a friend who loves organizing kitchens, and she would be more than happy to come over and dig through your stuff. Well, delegate it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to feel guilty about not doing it. You go off and do whatever you want to do and further your hobby and let her do the stuff that she really likes to do. Now, if you get in there with her, she's not going to be able to organize it near as good as she would if you were out. So there's your excuse for that. Let me see my notes. I made 2 notes. Oh, I did. Another word, shoulding. If you can eliminate shoulding from your life, I should do, I should not do, which you don't say very often. I can't do that because I should make stuff for the church bake sale. I don't have time for that because I get home from work late. I don't have time for that, or I should clean the baseboards this week. I don't have time to work on a hobby until all that's done. That's another big time eater, is that you have to shift your thinking into my hobby is up here. That's my main goal. If I have time after arting, I might clean one baseboard in one room. You don't have to clean all those baseboards before you allow yourself to play in the studio, because eventually playing in the studio changes into I'm in the studio working today. That becomes your prime thing, because that's what makes you feel good. That's what makes your heart sing. That's what makes you get up in the morning. So don't lay roadblocks in your way by doing everything yourself, refusing to ask for help or donate or delegate or recuse yourself from. You've got plenty of time. You've got the same amount of time everybody else does. Is my house neat like it always used to be? Not by a long shot. The junior auxiliary or the ladies of the Daughters of the American Revolution aren't going to pop in my house for lunch anytime soon. I don't even have a table, so that would be kind of awkward. You get my point. I gave up some of that stuff because it ate a lot of time. It ate up a lot of time that I could spend doing something else, doing something I really wanted to do, something that was healthy for me. So that's about all I've got to say about that. So I appreciate any comments, and please go to the Axully.com. That's where you can sign up for my blog, and I do a written blog once a week. And I do this live on Wednesdays, and I do YouTube lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can always find this little shining face just about anywhere you want to go look. The YouTube lives, though, I get to just show the artwork and I talk. So I don't have any problem with talking, obviously. So go see Buy Shannon Green and buy all your Christmas gifts. And remember to start taking time, making time for your hobby. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.